you had a good week. Must be nice to be back into familiar territory to your home in Edgewater. And I hope you have great weather coming up at the beach. It looks like it's going to be better once we get through this period through today and tomorrow. So today's workout is a mat and reformer based, of course, all on the mat. For any kind of supplemental equipment, I'm assuming that you have available to you the same things that you had available to you in Florida, which for today's purposes, you'll need 2 light hand weights, nothing more than 2 pounds. If your hand weights are heavier than 2 pounds, then 2 canned goods of 16 ounces each. And then your TheraBand. So, and if you don't have a TheraBand, we can use a magic circle. For today's purposes, I like the idea of the TheraBand because we can use it not just to press into, which the magic circle is something we use to press into when we're doing our arm work, but we can also press away with the TheraBand. So it's just a different approach to the same muscle group. So to get started for today, we're going to lower ourselves all the way down to the mat. Line up your heels, your knees, your hips, your shoulders. Let your head be heavy and centered to your body. Distribute your weight equally from left to right, and then place your hands next to you on the mat. And we'll start our series today the way we start every series by just doing a couple of pelvic tilts. So press your lower back down. You're curling your tailbone here, kind of towards the ceiling. Then pull your heels kind of asymmetrically. Don't let them move, but let them pull your lower back off the mat. And we'll do that 2 more times. Press your lower back down, widen your collarbone, and then pull your heels towards your tailbone to lift your lower back off the mat, finding that natural curve there. And 1 more time, press your lower back down. Then press your heels to pull your lower back off the mat. And double check that you're in neutral. So you're going to take the palms of your hands, put the heel of your palm of your hand onto your hip points, place your tall finger onto your pubic bone, into that trivet that we sometimes use for our leg work, or for our ab work, and you're going to just want to make sure that your hip points and your pubic bone are somewhat on an equal plane without it putting too much pressure on the rest of you. So if it's not comfortable or you have to be tense into that space, honor that with your body and let your body be where it needs to be. But if you find that you were kind of curled up and tightened, sometimes checking this posture allows you to find neutral and let go of some of that tension. So we'll start by preparing for the 100. We're going to start by bringing your right knee into tabletop, bring your left knee into tabletop. Let your knees be right directly over your hips. Then lift your head, neck, and shoulders and press into your hands to widen your collarbone more. Then float your hands up over your hips, pull your shoulder blades in the opposite direction, begin to pump your arms. Inhale deeply for me here, your arms are very firm, and exhale all the air out. Your eyes are on your belly button. And inhale, and exhale. And 1 more like this. And exhale, then straighten your legs for me. Energy through your toes, through your fingertips. And exhale. And with the next inhale, if it's okay for your spine, go ahead and lower those legs, grow longer out of your pelvis, and exhale. And inhale again and see if you can lower your heels a little bit more. And exhale, keep looking at your belly button. Hug your inner thighs towards each other. And exhale. We have 3 more. Inhale. And exhale. And last one, inhale. Just sorry, this is 2. And exhale, this is your last one. Inhale. And exhale. Pause your pumps, bring your knees into your chest, rest your head, neck, and shoulders down on the mat. Turn your chin to the right to stretch the left side of your neck. Come back to the center and turn your head to the left to stretch the right side. Then come back to the center. Rock yourself up to a seated position, and once you're here, make sure you have those hand weights somewhat nearby, 1 on each side of your feet. We're going to go right into your half roll back. So your heels will be steady on the mat. If you can position yourself so that your toes are actually against the baseboard of a wall, that's even better because it gives you a little bit of something to press your toes into, and your heels can be heavy, and it actually makes the work a little bit deeper. So we're going to start with our hands right behind our thighs. We're going to inhale, we're going to stack our spine up, and in that same way we talked about, I think, on one of these videos, when you stack, you're still not sticking your butt out, you're lifting from your lower abs. You're inhaling here. As you exhale, your heels will stay down, your hands will stay behind your thighs. Hollow out your lower abs without shrinking the collarbone, and roll back till your arms are fully extended. Then push into those heels. Pull your abs in more. Keep the space between your hip and your bottom rib as long as it is now. Don't let it shrink as you keep yourself curled to roll up. And at the top, you lift your heart without sticking your booty right out. We'll do that one more time. Inhale at the top. Exhale, roll halfway back. Inhale here at the bottom. Pull your abs in more. Exhale, roll yourself all the way up. And at the top, lift your heart, lift it into your lower abs. Bring your hands on the high diagonal. Lift your spine. Inhale. Exhale, reach through your fingertips, reach through your heels, roll halfway back. Inhale at the bottom. Exhale, pull your abs in more to lift yourself all the way back up. Let's do this one more time like that. Inhale. Exhale, roll halfway back. Tailbone is heavy, heels are heavy. Inhale here. Exhale, roll yourself all the way up. Go ahead and put your hands down and find your weights for me, please. Put the weights into the palms of your hands with your palms facing upward. Give yourself a little elbow bend in that elbow. And then lift your spine up for me here. Inhale. Exhale, roll halfway back. Keep reaching your fingertips away from you. Inhale here. Reach into those weights. Pull your abs away from the weight as you lift yourself all the way back up. One more like this. Inhale at the top. Exhale, roll away. Abs are in and up, tailbone is heavy. Inhale here, collarbone wide. Reach through the palms of your hands, reach yourself all the way back up. Lower the weights just for a second to take the pressure off of your arms and on your neck. Then take those weights and bring your knuckles towards each other. And then keep the weights and your knuckles centered on your heart. We're going to do a little rotation work here. Inhale, roll halfway back, press your elbows away from each other. Twist your spine to the left. Keep pulling those elbows apart. Come back to the center. Twist your spine to the right. Come back to the center. Exhale, reach yourself all the way back up. Let's change our breath. Inhale at the top. Exhale, roll back. Inhale at the bottom. Exhale, turn left. Inhale to the center. Exhale, turn right. Inhale to the center. Exhale, roll yourself all the way back up. Put the weights off to the side. Put your hand right back in that same position. We're going to do a little extension work and kind of opening up of our chest. Inhale at the top here. Knuckles are together. Exhale, roll halfway back. Inhale here. Exhale, turn to the left. Open your heart away. Then put your hands back together. Come back to the center. Lift up to the ceiling. Or come back to seated, excuse me. Inhale at the top. Exhale, roll halfway back. Inhale here. Exhale, twist to the right. Open your hands away from each other. Bring your knuckles back together. Come back to the center. Lift yourself all the way back up. Let's do this one more time on each side. Curl away for me. Twist to the left. Open your heart away. Open your knuckles away from each other. Back to the center. Lift all the way back up. Curl halfway back again. Hug your inner thighs together. Turn to the right. Open your knuckles away from each other. Open your chest. Bring your knuckles back together. Come back to the center. Lift yourself all the way back up. Reach your hands in front of you on the high diagonal. Lower yourself all the way back down to the mat. Place your hands onto the mat. Extend your legs long for me. Flex through your feet. If you're near that wall, press the arches of your feet into that wall like you're standing on the ground. Going right into our full roll up. Hug your inner thighs together for me. Reach your hands right above your collarbone. Energy through your fingertips. On an inhale, peel your head, neck, and shoulders up off the mat. Now pause here. Reach your heels into that baseboard even more. Keep reaching into that baseboard as you peel your spine up. At the top, bend your knees a little. Just give yourself a chance to kind of stretch the top of your waist. Then lower yourself back down. Keep reaching through your heels. Your hands stay right in line with your collarbone. All the way back down to the mat, and then your hands float up right up towards the ceiling. Let's work at this pace again. Inhale, lift your head, reach through your heels, glue your arches onto that baseboard. Pull your abs in more, pull your abs in more, pull your abs in more. At the top, bend your knees, reach towards your toes, lift your waist for me. Settle your shoulders on your back. Inhale at the top, exhale, reach through your heels as you straighten your legs and you iron your spine all the way back down. to the mat. Let's do 2 more at pace. Inhale, lift your head. Exhale, lift up and over. Now keep your legs straight. Lift your waist more and stretch the front of your waistline. Inhale to lower halfway down. Exhale, lower all the way back down. 1 more like this. Inhale, lift your head. Exhale, pull your abs in and up. Lift up and over for me here. Then inhale to roll yourself halfway down and exhale to roll yourself all the way back down. Place your hands next to you on the mat. Go ahead and grab those weights for me again, please. And let's bring those weights directly up towards the ceiling for our 1-leg circle. Hug your left foot firmly into that baseboard. Bring your right leg into tabletop. Your knuckles are reaching towards the ceiling. Your arm bones are heavy into the sockets. Then straighten your right leg for me, please. Point your toe. Now keep your arms completely centered on your shoulder, on the shoulder. And you're going to bring your top leg across, around, and up. Your arms are not moving. The only thing moving is the leg that's reaching towards the ceiling. We have 2 more here. We have 1 more here. The top will go the opposite direction all the way around the neck. And here's 4. And here's 3. Keep plugging those shoulder blades to keep those weights nice and stable. And last 1. Then lower that foot all the way down to the mat. Bring the opposite leg into tabletop. Now stand firmly onto that right leg. Extend your left leg towards the ceiling. Let the pelvis be nice and heavy on both sides. The leg goes across to the right, around, and up. And here's 4. Shoulder blades are plugged. I have to keep the range of motion really small. So the smaller, start small to make sure that you're staying stable. After 5, you're going to reverse that. And then you can experiment with whether you can make that range of motion bigger. Keep standing firmly in that extended leg. You have 2 more. You have 1 more. Lower that leg all the way down to the mat. Keep the weights right where they are. Reach your knuckles towards the ceiling. Inhale, lift your head. Peel your spine up. Reach your knuckles towards your toes at the top. Lift your spine. Put the weights down for me, please. Bend your knees. Place your hands right behind your thighs. Hover your feet off the mat for rolling like a ball. Hug your heels together. Separate your toes and open your knees so that your forehead can dive towards your knees. I want you to keep this small on the way back and big on the way up. You pull your abs in so much that you roll off your sit bones, and then you roll right back up and you pause before your feet touch the mat. We'll do 2 more. You roll back and you lift your abs to roll up, easy breezy. And 1 more, roll back and lift back up. Then put your feet down onto the mat. Lower yourself all the way down to the mat, and we'll prepare for our ab series. Placing your hands next to you on the mat. Actually, let's just stretch out our ITBs and our hips a little bit. Drop your legs over to the left and hug your right shoulder blade into the mat. Come back to the center. Drop your legs over to the right. Hug your left shoulder blade. Come back to your center line for me. Going right into your single leg stretch. Bring your knees into tabletop. Lift your head, neck, and shoulders off the mat. Your pelvis is heavy. Your knees are right over your hips to start with. Bring your right knee in towards your chest. Put your left hand on the inside of that knee. Put your right hand on the outside. Create a barrier to keep that knee inside the framework of your body. Press your left leg away. And then switch legs for me. Your left leg is long. Your right hand is on the inside, keeping the leg centered to your shoulder. And switch again to the right. And switch again to the left. Now let's move twice as fast. It's a right for 2 and a left for 2 and a right and a left. Pull your knees in, rest your head down to the mat. Turn your head to the right and turn your head to the left. Double leg stretch. Lift your head, neck, and shoulders off the mat. Dive your forehead towards your knees. Inhale, reach your arms and legs straight up to the ceiling. Your head doesn't change position. Exhale, circle your arms around, pull your knees in. 4 to go. Inhale to reach out, grow longer out of your pelvis. Circle your arms around, pull your knees in. Last 3, and circle around, pull your knees in. Last 2, and last 1. Circle around and lift your legs straight up to the ceiling. Pull that right leg into your chest for surgery. Pull, pull, and switch. And 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 pull, pull. And 1 more right. And 1 more left. Bend your knees. Put your feet down. And put your head down. Place your hands next to you on the mat. Turn your chin to the right. And come to the center. And then turn your chin to the left. And then come back to the center. Preparing for lower lift, go ahead and take your hands, make a trivet of your hands, place your hands right underneath your pelvis. Let your pelvis find that kind of nice equal distribution of weight. It's going to be right into that neutral position. Then once you're there, press your elbows into the mat to widen your collarbone. Lift your head, neck, and shoulders off the mat. Bring your knees into tabletop and straighten your legs so that your heels are right over your hips. Externally rotate your toes, so externally rotate the whole leg inside your pelvis. Lower your legs down for 3 and 2 and 1. Grow longer out of your pelvis as your legs glide back up in 1. Lower 3 and 2 and 1. Longer as you lift, and 1 more like this. 2, 1 longer as you lift. Now lower down in 1. Lift up for 3. Pelvis heavy 2 and 1. Lower down in 1. Lift for 3 and 2 and 1. Last one. Lower down in 1. Lift for 3 and 2 and 1. Bend your knees. Put your feet down. Put your head down. Lift your pelvis up, take your hands out from underneath your pelvis, and place your hands right behind your neck for a little crisscross. So for crisscross today, let's keep our feet down, keep our knees hugging towards each other. Imagine you have a credit card right at the top of your inner thighs that you have to hold on to for dear life. Let your hands be behind your neck, your elbows be wide. Lift up your head, neck, and shoulders, and look at your pelvis. Keep that pelvis in that nice neutral position. Twist your spine to the left, and open your left elbow more and reach up with your right shoulder. See if you can twist around the corner a little bit more. 2 and 1. Come back to the center. Make sure your pelvis is still neutral. Twist to the opposite side. Open the right elbow more. Lift off your right shoulder blade. See if you can twist around the corner. Come back to the center. It's a twist and lift for 3 and lift for 2 and lift for 1. Come back to the center. Twist and lift for 3 and 2 and 1. Back to the center. 1 more in each direction. 2 and 1 and back to the center. Last time. 3 and 2 and 1. Come back to the center. Lower everything back down to the mat. Extend your hands straight up to the ceiling. Extend your legs long for me. Flex into your heels heavily. Peel your head, neck, and shoulders off the mat for me, and roll yourself all the way back up. And once you're here, grab your TheraBand for me, please. And we're going to use our TheraBand for our spine stretch forward. So take that TheraBand and reach it, and place it between your hands, and allow your hands to kind of wrap around the TheraBand so that your arms are about as wide as your shoulder blades. And then you're going to press externally, kind of reach those knuckles away from each other, and feel your shoulder blades connect onto your back. Open your legs to the width of your mat and flex your feet for me, please. Lift your waist for me and see if you can do that without sitting into that lower back. Take a nice deep inhale. As you exhale, imagine that band is on a shelf. Slide that band forward. Keep pulling it apart. Pull your abs in the opposite direction. Then inhale to stack your spine all the way back up against that imaginary wall. Exhale to hold the space. Inhale again for me. Drive your knuckles away from your heart. Exhale, reach your knuckles forward. Pull your abs in and up. Lift your waist. See if you can keep your waist nice and long. Inhale to stack. Exhale, hold the posture. Last time, flex through your heels firmly for me. Let your legs be very active here. Inhale. Exhale, drive your forehead towards your knees. Pull your abs in and up. Your collar, or your part of your hair is reaching towards your toes. Inhale, stack your spine. Pull your heart through the opening of your arms. Let your hands lower down just for a second and move your hands a little wider onto the band. And let yourself have a little bit of give in that band, because we're going to use the band for our saw. So your feet are exactly in the same position. Your heart is forward. You take a nice deep inhale at the top. Exhale, twist to the left. Let's actually completely unwrap that band. Reach your right hand forward towards your pinky toe. Reach your left hand backward. Stretch that band apart and see if you can reach your chest to the band even more. Then lift yourself up in that stretch and come back to the center. Twist to the opposite direction. Your left hand goes forward. Your left hip goes backwards. Your right hand goes backwards. And you pull that band apart. Then stay on both of your sit bones. Stack your spine towards the right. Come back to the center. Twist to the left. Right hand forward, left hand back, right hip back. Pulse for 3. pull it apart for 2, pull that band apart for 1, lift up in your stretch, come back to the center. Last time, twist to the opposite side, reach the left hand forward, pull the band back with your right hand, reach it apart more and more and more, come up in your stretch, come back to the center, bring your hands together, bring your feet together, put the band off to the side, grab your weights, bring them with you as you lower yourself all the way down to the mat. Put the weights right up behind your head, and then you're going to turn onto your stomach for a little extension work, a little swan work. So once you're here, bring the weights parallel or horizontally across the top of your mat. And then you're going to bring those weights so that when your arms are fully extended, the weights are right between your elbows and your wrist. Your palms are down, your head is down, your toes are pressing into the mat, and just double check that you feel like your toes and your knees and your hips are in alignment. And then before we begin our extension work, you're going to set your spine so that you're not, once you start that extension, you don't dump into that lower back. So press all 10 toes into the mat and lift your thigh bones into your hip sockets. Then let your forehead rest lightly onto the mat. By way of your shoulder blades, pull your shoulder blades away from your ears to move your arms closer to you. Keep your arms straight. Roll your arms back over those weights to lift your heart forward. And then roll your weights away as you lengthen out of your waist to lower back down. Press your toes down again. Lift your thigh bones into your hip sockets. The back of your body is active. Pull your shoulder blades away from your ears as you roll your spine forward and up. And then keep those shoulder blades on your back. Lengthen yourself out of your waist as you lower yourself all the way back down. Let's do this one more time. You pull your shoulder blades away from your ears. Your abs are in and up. Your backside is active. Pull your heart forward as you roll the weights back towards your heart. And then roll yourself away. Get longer in your waist as you lower everything back down to the mat. Place your hands right underneath your shoulder blades. And then sit back for me onto your heels for a little rest, a little child's pose. And then we'll turn around onto our back, and we're going to do a little bit of our reformer work. We're going to mix a little reformer work into that. So your weights will come actually on either side of your body. And then you'll center yourself back on your mat, and we'll start with a little footwork here. So you're going to take your hands and put them behind your neck. So if you were doing footwork on the reformer, your feet would be on the foot bar, your head would be on the headrest. So your hands are going to help to supply the feeling of your head being on that headrest. So let's bring our knees into tabletop and then lift our head, neck, and shoulders off the mat, and let your head be a little bit heavy in your hands. And then you're going to start with your heels connected and your toes apart. Your pelvis is in neutral. You're looking at your belly button. You're going to press your legs away, then pull your knees in. Pause when your knees are right over your hips. And 4 to go. Stretch your legs out, pull your abs in to pull your knees in. And 3 to go. And 2 to go. And 1 to go. Then bring your feet together, bring your knees together, rest your head down onto the mat. Your second position in footwork, I'm sorry, I have a little cramp on my toe, is with your feet parallel and your toes pointing away from you. So imagine that foot bar is right underneath your arch right now. Your knees are right over your hips. You peel your head, neck, and shoulders off the mat, and you let your pelvis be heavy. You straighten your legs away. You pull your abs in to pull your knees in. And 4 to go, and in. And 3, and in. And 2, and in. Last 1, and in. Lower your head, neck, and shoulders down to the mat. Your third position in footwork is with your feet flexed. Again, your knees are heavy over your pelvis. Peel your head, neck, and shoulders off the mat. Make sure you're still in neutral. Lead with your heels. Press your heels away, pull your knees in. And it's a press and it's a pull. And it's a press and it's a pull. And 2 more. And 1 more. Then bring your knees into tabletop and lower your head, neck, and shoulders down onto the mat. Straighten your legs, keep your head down. Point your toe, flex your heels. Point your toes, flex your heels, and point your toes and flex. And last one, point and flex, then bend your knees back into tabletop, lower your feet down onto the mat. Place your hands right next to you on the mat and grab your weights. Your next position, or your next exercise when you are on the reformer, is the 100 again. We're only going to do 50 of them, and you're going to do this with your weights in your hands to kind of approximate the feeling of your hands and straps, which is how you're doing it when you're on the reformer. So let's start by bringing our knees into tabletop. Lift your head, neck, and shoulders, and hover those weights right around your hips, or excuse me, right at the hip height. Reach your knuckles away. Begin to pump your arms down with control here. Inhale deeply for me. Keep reaching your knuckles away, and exhale. If you feel stable here, you can straighten your legs. Inhale and exhale. Collarbone is wide. You have 3 to go. Inhale. Maybe you can lower your legs a little. And exhale. And 2 to go. Inhale. Knuckles are away. And exhale. And last, inhale and exhale. Pause your pumps. Bring your knees back into tabletop. Lower your head down. Put your feet back down onto the mat. Let your feet again drop over to the left and turn your chin to the right. Come back to your center. Drop your feet over to the right, turn your chin to the left, and come back to center. Your next position, if you were on the reformer, would be your coordination. I know this is your favorite. So you're going to keep your hands on those weights. Bring your knees into tabletop, lift your head, neck, and shoulders, and then bend your elbows to 90 degrees. On an inhale, press your legs straight away, press your knuckles straight down to the mat. Hold on to the mat with your palms. Open your legs to the width of your body. Close your legs. Bend your knees first. Keep your head up. Bend your elbows. Press your back of your arms down. Inhale again. Press everything out. Open and close your legs. Bend your knees here. Exhale. Bend your elbows. Exhale more. 2 more. Inhale. Open, close. Bend your knees. Exhale a little. Bend your elbows. Exhale a lot. Last time. Inhale. Open, close. Bend your knees, exhale, bend your elbows, exhale, place your hands down, place your head down, place your feet down. Keep those weights right to the side of your hips and just turn around and back onto your stomach within the framework of your weights. So the next thing you would be doing if you were on the reformer would be your pulling straps. So today, for today's exercises, we're going to use those weights for your T press. We're going to skip the pulling straps, but we're going to go straight to your T press. So to prepare for your T press, you're going to put your forehead down, you're going to reach for your weights, and your weights are going to go out onto to a T on either side of you, with your hands on the floor to start. Settle the back part of your spine first, so pull your abs in and up, then hover your knuckles 1 inch off the floor. Reach your knuckles away and then pull your heart forward, keeping your hands right where they are. Lower your head back down, lower your hands back down. So if this feels okay for you on your shoulder, then we're going to work right into that T press. So you press your toenails down, your forehead is down, your hands are hovering right above the floor. Lift your head, neck, and shoulders. Reach through your pinkies, reach those weights back towards your hips, pull your heart forward more. Reach your knuckles wider, lower yourself all the way back down. 2 more. Your hands are hovering, you reach back towards your hips, your heart comes forward, you reach your hands back to a T, you lower your head back down. Last time, hands are up, head is up, pull back with your arms, open your collarbone, reach your arms wider as you lower everything back down. Put the weights down onto the mat in front of you and sit back into a rest pose. And then bring your hands together over to the right side, pull your left hip back. And then do the same thing to the opposite side. Then come up to a seated position and turn to the opposite end of your mat. And we're going to do a little bit of your short box work right here. So your feet will go back against the baseboard of your wall. And we're going to start just with the first position in short box, which is your rounded position. So your hands will be wrapped around your waist. This is basically a half roll back, right? Hug your inner thighs together. Curl your tailbone, roll off your sit bones. Then pull your abs in more. Keep your collarbone nice and wide. Keep all the space in your midsection. Lift yourself up and then lift your heart up. We'll do this 2 more times. Curl your pelvis, roll back. Your toes are reaching into the wall. Abs are in and up. Keep pushing those toes into the wall. Pull your abs away and lift your heart at the top. One more like this. Pull your abs up. Then pull your abs in to roll back. And then lift your waist and lift your heart. From here, we'll go back straight into that straight back position. Reach your hands straight up towards the ceiling for me. Your ears and your elbows are together. Lift your heart. Hinge back for me. So you're not going to go that far back because you have nothing to hold you onto that wall. Then lift yourself taller as you come back up. Two more. You're in a straight spine. Your heart is forward. You lift up, up, up. And one more like that. You reach out. You lift up, up, up. Take your hands right behind your neck. Keep your spine long. Twist your spine to the right. Pull your right elbow back. Come back to the center. Twist your spine to the left. Come back to the center. One more like this. Twist to the right. Come back center. Twist to the left. And come back center. Place your hands behind your thighs. Lower yourself all the way back down onto the mat. Pull your knees into your chest. Give your lower back a little stretch here. Then we're going to turn onto our stomach again, and we're going to try to replicate some of the work that we do when we're in the long stretch section of our workout. So you're going to take your TheraBand and you're going to bring it to the front end, top end of your mat. Then we're going to start with ourselves in a tabletop position, and your heels of your hands will be right underneath your shoulders. This is going to be a plank with a moving plank. So to start with, let's just explore how we feel about our plank today. So my wrists get a little tender when I'm in this position, so I like to put my knuckles down onto the mat, up to you, whatever it works for you. Let's start by making sure, again, that we're lined up, knuckles or wrists towards your shoulders. And then let's start by sticking your right leg out long and use it as a kickstand. Your toe is flexed. Then lift your abs up and then bring your left leg out to meet it. You're in that plank. Let's start by just holding this position. Your collarbone is wide. You're going to hold here for 5 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Lower one knee down, lower the other knee down, sit back onto your heels, reach your fingers forward. Let's move from here right into the feeling of that long stretch. So your knuckles will be down. Your shoulders will be right over your knuckles. Let's put the other leg back first this time. So your left leg will go straight down. Your toe is flexed. Your right leg reaches out to meet your left. You pull your abs in, tighten your backside. Let's flex your heels, reach your heels away from, like you're trying to reach them into the wall. Then point your toes, pull your heart forward. Then flex your heels. Then point your toes. 2 more. Flex and point. Last time, flex and point. Lower one knee down. Lower the other knee down. Sit back onto your heels. From here, we're going to lift straight up into our knees. If you were on the reformer, you would be doing down stretch. We're not going to do down stretch actually here. We're going to do a little kneeling chest expansion. So grab your TheraBand for me, please, and wrap it once around your knuckles. Then lift your heart, and you're going to stack your knees, your hips, your shoulders, your ears all in one line. Then I want you to press your toes into the mat and push your hips forward. Now, could you even hover your toes off the mat a little bit? Reach your knuckles down, pull the TheraBand apart to pull your heart forward. Then lower your toes down and let go of the pressure or release the pressure on the TheraBand. Let's do this in a standing chest expansion or a kneeling chest expansion position now. So now you'll press your toes down to pull your hips forward. Maybe you'll hover your toes. Then your hands will come out about 6 inches from your hips. Inhale. Press your knuckles down, pull the TheraBand apart, widen your collarbone, hug the back of your arm to your shoulder blades. Then keep the lift. As you exhale, reach your hands back, reach your toes down. We'll do this now with a little movement of our head. You'll inhale. You'll press the band down, lift your heart up, lift your toes if you can. Hold here. Turn your chin to your right shoulder. Come back to the center. Turn your chin to the left. and come back to the center. Put your toes down, reach your hands forward. One more time. Inhale, press the band down, lift your heart up, hover your toes. Turn your chin to the left, come back to the center. Turn your chin to the right, come back to the center, press your toes down, reach your hands forward. Go ahead and take the TheraBand, let it go back to the front of your mat, then place your hands straight underneath you with your either your knuckles or your wrists straight underneath your shoulder blades. And then you're going to press one leg down into that kickstand position, the opposite leg down, and then I just want you to lift your hips up towards the ceiling. So this would be the equivalent of your up stretch. Then I would like you to think about your articulation of your spine. So you're going to press into those wrists, and I want you to pull your belly button in to lengthen your whole spine so that your heart comes forward and you're back into that plank. Then imagine that there's something pulling your belly button right up towards your spine. Lift your abs to lift your hips straight back up towards the ceiling. It's very easy to make this something where you're doing it with your arms. Can you make it more of an ab exercise? Then pull your tailbone down, articulate your spine back into that plank. Again, rather than push off your hands, pull your abs to pull your hips up. Look at your toes for me, please. And then lengthen your tailbone and reach yourself back into that plank. Then you're going to separate your feet to the width of your shoulder blades, stick your butt back into this downward dog, and think about your elephant. Press your heels down, lift your waist up, lift your knees up, look at your belly button. Then walk your hands back towards your toes. How far back can you go? And keep your legs straight. Let your head be heavy. Keep your heels down. Walk your hands forward, keeping your heels of your hands right in line with your shoulders. Lift your abs, press your heels down more. Lift your kneecaps up more. Then walk your hands again back towards your toes. Keep lifting your waist towards the ceiling. Then walk your hands back out away from your toes. One more time. Heels are down, knees are up, abs are in and up. Keep lifting your waistline towards the ceiling. Walk back. Then walk away. And come down to your knees. How are we doing, guys? All right. So from here, if you were on the reformer, we would normally be doing, we would have you step off the reformer to do your tricep dips. So that's exactly what we're going to do right now. So I'm going to have you step. You can do this actually in two ways. You can do it, let's try it right here on the floor. So you're going to turn your feet back towards the far end of your mat. You're going to place your palms or your knuckles straight down onto the floor. Pull your heart forward. And then extend your legs so that you have just a little bit of bend in that knee. Then push into your hands to lift your butt up. You're going to bend your elbows and straighten. And bend your elbows and straighten. And bend your elbows and straighten. And bend your elbows and straighten. Then put your butt down. Now we're going to lift and kind of into a turned over tabletop. So now you're going to be with your heels right underneath your knees and your hips are heavy. Now you're going to bend your elbows and press up. Your heart stays straight up towards the sky. Your elbows are pulling towards each other. Bend and straighten. You have 3 more. Bend and straighten. You have 2 more. Bend and straighten. You have 1 more. Bend and straighten. Give yourself a tabletop right here. Feel your booty engaged. Then put your hips down and bring your hands forward. Well done. All right, let's go from right here into something approximating our knee stretch series. So you're going to turn back onto your stomach. And we're going to start with our hands again right underneath our shoulder blades. Our knees will be separated to our hip distance apart, and our knees are going to be right below our hips. To start with, the first thing and the only thing we're going to do is we're going to feel kind of the lift through our pelvic floor. Pull your abs in, press your toes down, hover your knees off the mat. Keep pulling your abs in and up. Hold here for 5, hold here for 4, hold here for 3, hold for 2, hold for 1, lower your knees down to the mat with control. So moving on from here, you're going to flex your toes behind you. You're going to hover your knees off the mat, and then you're going to pull your right knee in towards your shoulder and press it away. And in towards your shoulder and press it away. You have 3 more. In and away. And 2 and away. And 1 and away. Put that toe down, hover that knee. Bring your left knee into your shoulder blade, press it away. And in and away. And 3 to go. And 2 to go. And 1 to go. Then put your toe down, put your knees in line with your hips. Lower your knees down, lower your toes down, sit back onto your heels, give yourself a stretch. Finishing off with what would be our pelvic lift at the end of our routine, or at the end of our reformer, we're going to just finish off with some shoulder bridging. So bend your knees for me, put your feet in line with your hips, carefully lower yourself all the way back down to the mat, then place your hands next to you on the mat. And let's start with our knees bent, a pretty good bend, and your heels kind of in line with your hips in terms of just a linear line. Press into your hands, and your feet, your knees, by the way, are about your internal hip distance apart. Press into your whole arm to widen your collarbone, so recreate that standing chest or that kneeling chest expansion you just did a few minutes ago. And then we're going to curl our tailbone, push our lower back down, push our heels into the mat, and peel your spine up off the mat. And now that you're here, you're going to want to create, think of a thigh stretch. So you want to think one long line from your knee to your hip to your shoulder. So you're almost going to be kind of curling your tailbone more to bring yourself into that nice long line. Then press into your heels more and think about rolling away from your chin. You're going to push your your top of your spine down first. The middle of your spine down second. Make sure both sides of your waist are landing at the same time. Get the curl of your tailbone, or the curve of that spine down before your tailbone lands. And find neutral. Let's do that again. Press into your heels. Press into all 5 fingers of both of your hands and so that your whole arm hug onto your mat. Curl your tailbone. Thread your tailbone up in between your knees. Lift the back of your pelvis up. Lift your waist. Widen your collarbone. Let your head be very heavy. Press into all 5 fingers of both of your hands. Press into the big toes of your feet. Then roll away from your chin, top of your spine. Middle of your spine. Curve of your spine. Let your pelvis land and try to recreate that feeling of neutral that we created in the very beginning of our class. So the last thing we'll do is we'll bring our feet a little bit closer together and towards each other, and then move them a little bit further away from our hips. So your angle is not quite so acute. It's a little bit more of an open angle on those knees. And we're just going to press your lower back down, peel your pelvis off the mat. And then keep reaching those knees away. Keep pressing those heels down. And then we're just going to see if we can find just a little bit more length in our pelvis. Top of our spine lowers down. Middle of our spine lowers down. Curve of our spine lowers down. Our whole pelvis lands down. And hopefully you'll find a way of just naturally finding that neutral spine. You're going to rock yourself up to a seated position, and we're going to finish with just a little standing work, so a little standing chest expansion. So I'm going to have you grab that TheraBand again, and we're going to do the same thing we did a few minutes ago on our knees, but now we're going to do it standing. So you're going to grab that TheraBand, and you're going to wrap your knuckles around it, and then you're going to align your spine in space. And let's work today in a Pilates V. So your heels will be connected, your toes will be apart, and then think about building your spine from the bottom to the top. So your ankles will be in line with your knees will be in line with your hips will be in line with your shoulders with your ear, crown of your head is lifting towards the ceiling. Let's reach those hands in front of us and apply a little pressure on that band to feel the back of your shoulder blades engage. Take a nice deep inhale. Imagine you're doing this with the roll down bar off the end of the Cadillac. Press the band downward towards the floor. Reach your knuckles to the floor. Reach your heart forward. Hug the back of your arms to your shoulder blades. Keep your hands here. Turn your chin to the right and come back to the center. Turn your chin to the left. and come back to the center. Glide your arms up, keep your spine lifted, keep the crown of your head lifted. A little pressure in the band, inhale. Hold your breath, reach the band downward, pull your heart forward, knuckles are reaching to the floor. Hold your breath, turn your head to the left, and come back to the center. Turn your head to the right, and come back to the center. Keep lifting your waist, exhale, reach your hands forward. Hug your heels together and see if you can hover those heels 1 inch off the mat, or the floor, excuse me. Keep the hover of your heels. Inhale, press your hands down. Turn your chin to the right, staying on those tippy toes, and come back to the center. To the left, seal up through the middle, to the center. As you exhale, glide your hands forward, lower your heels down, lift the crown of your head up. Last time, inhale, press down, lift your waist up, hug the back of your legs together. Turn your chin to the left, come center, turn the right, and center. Imagine your head's on the ceiling. As you lower your heels and reach your hands forward, keep your head on the ceiling, lengthen your tailbone, lower your heels all the way back down. You're all finished. Have a fabulous weekend. I hope you have great weather. Hope you have great time with your family. I miss seeing you. Let me know how you feel about the workouts, if there's anything in particular you'd like to do for your next workout, and when you'll be ready for it. Be well, my friend. Safe travels. Take care. Bye.